So here I got my demo file out, and as you can see, I have the bake renderer here on the side. And so this first section is obviously is stated up above, the export location of where you would want the render to be exported to. For instance, I have it in the same file or same folder as the file, so that's why these two forward slashes are here. And the name that I want to give it is actually demo. So when it renders, it's going to say demo and then dot 00, or not 00, sorry. It's just going to be demo dot and then the name, the number of the current frame will be appended basically to the end of the whatever name you give it here. So for instance, if we start on frame 30, what it will happen is it will say export the rendered image as demo.30. And then once it's done, it'll end off at demo.154 here, since this is the end frame. And so it takes in consideration both of these factors here. Sorry about that. I definitely forgot to mention a little feature. Actually, not even a feature, just the functionality to make sure that everything's working perfectly fine and your Blender didn't crash. So basically, when you hit this button, when you animate, what will happen is it'll obviously begin to animate. Let me just go ahead and delete this here real quick. Is you need to have this window open. So if you go to Windows and toggle System Console, what you will see, let's see here. I think I already had it open. Yep. All right. What you will see is actually it saying it's saved inside of the render export location that you had set previously. So this was in the same folder as the demo file. So if we go ahead and click this here, you will see that is in fact the same folder. So I'm just gonna close that. But yeah, so just to make sure that it's rendering, you want to have this open. And when you have this open, what you can do is, let's say it's rendering and you actually forgot to take a certain setting or something. What you can do is, if you don't have this open, what happens is you can't pause the render. The only way to pause it would be to close your entire blend file. So if you're on Windows, and I'm not sure if this works on Mac, if there's any Mac users at all, or Linux even users for this, please do tell me if it's not the same, and if you find out what the keys are, because they might be different. But I know for on Windows, you would hit Control C, and that breaks you out of the loop that it's in, because the way that it's taking these are by being in the loop. So by canceling that, you can come back into Blender, because when you render again, it freezes up the whole program. So you want to make sure to save your file prior to starting the render. That was all. I will be adding more things here, since in case of possible corruption or anything crashes, the file will be saved automatically, and you can opt in or out to save a copy of whether it be a scene, or maybe you just want to render a specific scene. If you have multiple scenes, you could actually specify which scene, and as well as be able to more finely tweak whether or not how much kind of backup you want to make sure that your render doesn't end up crashing and getting corrupted, because that is definitely something that I think can happen. I haven't experienced it yet, so no clue about that. But so far from what I know is that this only really works in Eevee. I have not tried it in Cycles. In Cycles, you don't really need this because, I mean, you already automatically have like the lighting, the reflections show up. But in Eevee, so what it does is it makes sure that. So let me just go ahead and actually go here and show you real quick what this really does. So for instance, when we don't have the lighting cache, this is your image. This is what renders out as. And you have to bake the lighting, right? And then you can render the image. And so it does this for every frame. And that is what this add-on does. And with that, it can only export just images. So what you do have to do is actually come back here, set it to the frame that you had it set to, and import your images. So for instance, I'm gonna go ahead and import the image sequence here, which is 154, add image strip, and here it is. As you can see, lighting is kind of changing here depending on how many of these emissive lasers I got going on here, or closer or farther. Same with reflections. As you can see, it actually shows up versus how it will normally show up, or would normally show up at least. I've actually got the image sequence of that as well because I rendered it right after. So I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom here. Put this back here, start at 30. And so this is the original without and with. Oh, there you go. So this is definitely useful. Not useful in every render, definitely. It's mostly just for when you have something that needs to have some kind of sort of reflection. So, for instance, I have it in one of the scenes that I helped a friend of mine with when we were doing a scene with a TIE fighter, and it just didn't really 100% look right in Eevee, so we had to do some kind of crazy loop around with Cycles and Eevee, both rendering and then compiling it together. Versus here, it it does exactly what we needed. And this would have been useful back then, but now that I have this add-on that I created, it's totally useful. If you would like to see more of this stuff, definitely comment. Don't have to subscribe. That's completely up to you. If you think I make worthy enough content, that's, again, you can subscribe. You don't have to. And do leave a like, though, if you liked it. If not, well, you know what to do. The file for the demo will be up along with the add-on, and it will be free. I believe I will be posting that on Planswap or some other site. You will see it down in the description below. So if you would like to see any kind of edits or kind of features, definitely also you could comment that down below and I will try to add it in. And if you would want to even know how to make something like this or just make a panel here for your own use, like add-on wise, I could definitely give it a shot. So definitely leave a comment down below. All right. Well, with that being said, that is all I really have for you today. I will leave it at that. You have a good day. Bye bye.